Hey, the Charlie Kirk murder, seeing that happen to that young man is very sad. In my opinion, I believe that he was used as a front for their agenda. He's just that whole situation was all hype just to get the citizens stirred up amongst each other. And if you pay attention to the way the questions was asked, it seemed strategic to me. And then that last question, just before we heard that bullet whispered by, and then just before that, you see the two gentlemen standing to him doing signals. They were communicating with somebody. We won't ever find out who the shooter was. And the reason is the hit came from the White House. I can promise you that. So they need to focus on finding out where the hit came from. And the hit came from the White House. I can promise you that. That hit came from the White House, which is majority Republican. So for all the other politicians or whoever you claim you are, recording yourself saying, this is on the Democrats. What do you mean? It's on the Democrats. Did they find the shooter? Is the shooter name? Is his first name Democrat? What's the shooter last name? What do you mean? I'm a Democrat. I don't want that. I sure don't. They want that nobody assassinated. Not assassinated because he wasn't assassination worthy. But nobody wanted him killed. Who in the world? We don't sit around and do that. You don't even hear us as black people saying we want white people murdered or hung and all that because our ancestors don't. Y'all don't get that from us. Nobody. No Democrats is wanting that for nobody. Saying the Democrat, this is on your head. This ain't on no Democrat's head. It's on the shooter's head. Find your shooter and ask them, what's your motive? We don't know what all that young man had going on. He was 31 years old, and I believe he was used to push their agenda. They made an example out of him to push hatred amongst the citizens. So they want Republicans, citizens, and the Democrat citizens out here in the streets fighting. That's what they want. They want unrest. For what? For so many reasons, especially from the president. Because if he can get stuff like that going, then guess what? That pushes, we can't do no elections no more, all that good stuff. So it's just weird. Again, pay attention to the video. And also, why is that video allowed to be streamed on social media that way? Have y'all paid attention to that? We've never seen, normally it'd be flagged, they'll pull it down. They want us to see it because it's disturbing. And then they want us also to hear other politicians and supposed to be leaders say, this is all the Democrats. This just to get people fired up and mad. No, nobody is stupid. The Republicans, I hope y'all not that stupid. And Democrats, you already know, nobody wanted somebody killed. We want you to do right by everybody. Nobody wants nobody killed. That was disturbing. But pay attention. Why is that video not being pulled down? Why is it allowed? And then you're saying you love him so much. Why don't you pull that video down, Mr. President? That boy's got a wife and kids and his family. You're not trying to protect them from seeing that? You want that out there because you want us to fight amongst each other. We're not stupid. That hit came from the White House. That hit came from the White House. I'm going to say it again. That hit came from the White House because you're trying to push something. You're trying to get the streets stirred up amongst the citizens. That's what you want. Just like your little fake assassination, you sacrificed a young boy right there. And then now, this young boy is sacrificed. Y'all sacrificing folks' kids out here. Us old ass motherfuckers. Us old ass motherfuckers out here don't know how to act. But unfortunately, the Democrats know how to act. We ain't out here using the young little wannabe leaders. And he was headed somewhere. He was a great little debater. Although he was pushing a lot of negative stuff, he was a very mean little person now. And I think he was paid to say half of that stuff. I don't think that boy meant half of the stuff we seen him on his page. He said all this stuff. Even the stuff about sacrificing people getting killed to protect the Second Amendment. Whew, that did not age well at all. He said it with his own mouth. He didn't mean that. Y'all paid that boy to say that mess. And that's why you knew if you had them taken out, it would disturb everybody. And you're allowing that video to be around on social media that way. That's not cool. Hey, if you really want to find out who killed that boy, find whoever signed the hit. Find out who signed the hit, and you can start searching in the White House. I can promise you that. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, and prayers to you and your family. And I hate this happened. But, Mr. President, you might want to pull that video down. Social media should not be able to push that video like that. Yeah. If you really care about him and his family, pull that goddamn video down.